And I think many others, can relate to how if you're speaking to a friend or a teacher or whatever, and you are remarking over the past, and you might say something like, I can't believe that XYZ was 2 years ago. It only seems like yesterday. In other words, you are remarking of how time has passed by quickly and how fast a certain period of time has happened. A lot of us take time for granted, and many people waste it on unproductive and idle things. Now, what is interesting is that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said the last hour, referring to the Day of Judgment, will not be established until time starts to pass quickly. This narration of the Prophet can be interpreted in many ways without contradictory conclusions, and I believe contains a lot of information about the state of human civilization nowadays. The respected scholar and commentator of prophetic sayings, Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, rahimullah, says regarding this, what is meant removing the blessing from everything, even from time, and that is one of the signs of the approaching hour. Ibn Hajar suggested that blessings will diminish from time, and that we will waste our time on unimportant things, lowering its worth. Now look to the modern day people. We can notice that we have more sources of entertainment than ever before in history, and most of the people spend all their leisure time, be it on social media, Netflix, etc. The global internet consumption has increased over years as more hours are being spent on the virtual world. A scientific report published in 2016 states when we are doing things that are pleasurable to us, time starts to appear as passing rapidly than normal. And I can personally testify to this. When I've gone out with friends, for example, and we're having a laugh, we're enjoying ourselves, I notice well, we've been out for 3 hours. It only seems like we've been out for 5 minutes. Unexpected pleasurable events boost dopamine release, which should cause your internal clock to run faster. Your subjective sense of time in that case grows faster than time itself, so that short intervals seem longer than they actually are. Another interpretation of this narration is taken by the contemporary scholar and former Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, bin Baaz. He says the time passing quickly mentioned in the Hadith may be interpreted in the sense of what happened nowadays, where the distances between cities and regions have grown shorter and it takes less time to travel between them because of the invention of planes, cars, broadcasting, etc., and Allah knows best. In summary, this is a proof of prophethood, as the Prophet, peace be upon him, predicted that time will pass quickly, and whichever interpretation you choose to take, and you can even take both if you want, the Prophet is correct. And you have to remember as well, when he made this prophecy, he said in another hadith that one of the blessings people take for granted is free time. The Prophet himself, his companions, the generations that preceded them, the early generations, they were very careful with how they spent their time. This, in my eyes, adds to the value of this prophecy. The question you should ask yourself is, does this not demonstrate furthermore that he was a prophet, that Muhammad, peace be upon him, was who he said he was? I'll leave that for you to ponder over.